when we switch from first line to second line, and we typically would lose about 20-30 of the patients.
Now, what about DESTINY-Breast09? Can you tell us a little bit about the study design for DB09?
Yeah, for the DB09, I'm very excited again. In a way, this is the first time in the past decade that we are challenging the gold standard first line for HER2-positive metastatic breast cancer. So it's a randomization between the THP and T-DXd. The data looks amazing. And remember back in 2012, when Cleopatra was approved, the delta of the PFS was only a matter of 8 months. And now the delta of the PFS is way bigger than that. I'm very excited, and for those populations, they truly need new options. And I cannot believe we have been using exactly the same regimen for over a decade.
That is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's long overdue, perhaps, huh?
Yeah.
What's your take on the patient characteristics? Who were these patients in DESTINY-Breast09?
So, in my opinion, truly those patients with more disease burden and with aggressive disease, and when I'm concerned about when the disease progressed after the first line, I might be losing them. Truly, when we switch from first line to second line, and we typically would lose about 20-30 of the patients. And those 20-30% of the patients, I absolutely would favor to give them more effective treatment up front as first line rather than save them more effective treatment later. So those are the typical patients we treat every day, and truly both hormone receptor negative and hormone receptor positive patients were included, and especially for the patients with visceral disease, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
I think about 70% visceral disease, so it's a visceral predominant population in this study. And just over half were steroid receptor positive, I believe. That's interesting. Any other special characteristics of interest in the DB09 population? They had a high representation of Asian patients, I think a little over 40% perhaps in that trial, which is interesting.
Yeah, like all the DESTINY clinical trials, Asian is a huge population. I like that in a way it's no longer Caucasian-only clinical trials, and we truly need diversity in the clinical trials. Yeah, it's important.
30% had PIK3CA mutations, which was expected. And it was the same in both arms. The groups were well balanced, from my recollection, for all the baseline clinical pathologic demographic characteristics.
I know, so I don't recall any surprising characteristics of the patient population. It's a typical patients we would get into the clinical trial, and it's a typical population I would treat every day.
Right. Now the primary endpoint was PFS, and it was pretty extraordinary. PFS in the experimental arm, I think 40.7 months or something. Have you seen anything like that?
No, this is
unprecedented for first line.
It's impressive. Very impressive. But my bias truly has been, I have been educating my patients and my peers too. Especially when it's metastatic, I would prefer to give the most effective treatment up front, rather than see them later, because we are losing 20-30% of the patient each time when the cancer progressed.
By line.
Exactly. So it's impressive.
That's important.